All right, guys, follow up on the F-150. I'm super excited to show you guys this. I did a post on Facebook showing the fuel trim data that my brother did a capture for me for, and I'm gonna show this to you live. First thing is, I didn't get the start up. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone. Son's not here. The idle speed is super smooth compared to what it was before. There was a roughness to it. Smooth idle speed is the first thing I noticed. Let's take a look. I'm using the Phoenix Lite 2 here, in case you guys are wondering what scan tool this is. I'm not going to do a screen recorder. Sorry for the glare. Just want to show you guys the fuel trim data, and then I want to get my Pico back on this and with the pressure transducer and see what we see with those injector drops. I'll bet you that's a P1000 code in that PCM. My brother couldn't inspect it because the monitors weren't finished, and he's out of fuel, so the guy's gonna come drive it to finish this. Can't get all these monitors to run. Let's see the report. Wiper ignition run. This is in the GEM module, generic electronic module. Don't care about that. Security data missing, don't care about that. OBD1 testing complete, P1000, right? All right, so we're just gonna go to our PCM. Again, we're interested in our fuel trim. Sorry for keeping you guys in suspense. If you didn't see the Facebook post, this vehicle is fixed. The injector did fix it. I was nervous about this one. Never seen injector flow be less on a timer tool than more with the engine running. I don't typically do the pressure transducer stuff with the fuel systems, and this was clutch, man. It really was. Yeah, so we didn't get to see the correction factor. I'll share this image with you. This is the image my brother shared. We're showing like -14 on the long term and positive 10 on the short term on bank 1 where that injector was replaced. And then you're seeing from memory here a -11 and a positive 12 on bank 2, but all said and done, we're like -4 and +1 total trim, at least on that capture. And then here's the actual, and this is after it's been balanced. You see the short-term trim down here at the bottom, right, hovering around 0. Those look good. And my long-term trim, I'm showing a +5 on bank 2 and a +1, close to 2% on bank 1. That was our main one. Our heated O2s. Where's my other one? What did I pick here? Oh, I picked the wrong one. Let me pull up the other O2. Bank 1, sensor 1 voltage. There we go. And then let's graph these guys. Just let you look at the oxygen sensor signals here. I'll let that page build. This is our bank 1 right here in blue. Bank 1, sensor 1. This is our bank 2, sensor 1. Let's make sure. Yep. So it looks like when I go in this mode, this is tool stuff now. When I go into that mode, you see this gap here. That was because I was looking at the other sensor. It looks like it stops collecting data. Yeah, exactly. You can see how that one went flatline on me there. That's the other bank. So ignore those flat lines. That's me just kind of zooming in on the data, but look at your O2s. They're pretty even and uniform now compared to what it was before. And this would have been the bank that had the hashy O2, if you guys remember. Down here, ignore those blanks again. Just the scan tool stuff. Those numbers look great. After numbers, those look great. But that image my brother shared, let's pull it up again. How nice is it to be able to see the counter fuel trim numbers? That was the key in saying, hey, this vehicle is fixed. Awesome stuff. All right, this is at idle. Let me raise the RPM. Just want to see what the memory is showing. I'm pretty sure my brother did a keep alive memory reset. Not sure what RPM that is. I would say roughly about 2,000 RPM. These numbers look amazing. One of the things that I asked my brother, I was like, well, that positive trim on bank 2, He did find a vacuum solenoid that was disconnected, just a small vacuum hose. So we did have a vacuum leak too, and that could account for those positive trim numbers on the other bank. Really difficult one for me to pinpoint given the flow differences we had. But there's your after trim numbers. That looks great. O2s look great. I'm totally fine with a 2% and 5% fuel trim. Let's see what the pressure transducer shows now. Tanner has some wisdom to share with us.
I don't know about that, but I don't remember it. I think you did, and I think I did like the cylinder contribution test.
I did.
And it was showing like number 3.
I saw that on number 3, yep.
Well, there was also a noise that he wanted to explain to me that was on that side.
Yeah.
You know, sound like it was like valve cover, like, you know, some kind of noise, and went to go start it after I changed the fuel injector, and the rail was empty and some fuel dumped into the intake, and it was cranky to start. And Bob's like, it sounds like it's arcing over here. You know, so I clear flooded it, got it started, it misfired for a couple seconds and cleared out, and then we went out and we're listening under the hood, and ended up that the number 3 wire is about, you know, that big around, and the little electrode, like part of the wire, somehow he missed the tower with it.
This is a coil unplug though, isn't it?
It's a coil pack with wires.
Oh, okay.
And somehow it went over top of the tower of the coil, and the boot got put over it.
It was next to it.
Inside.
No way.
And it must have a really good coil. I think it's new because it was able to jump that gap and still run without much of a misfire. But I saw the lump in it whenever I was
laying next to it.
Well, it was over top and totally pushed down. Like that's
a female type coil and a male terminal.
A male terminal.
It was next to it.
And it was over top of it on the outside.
No way.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did show some misfires on cylinder 3.
I could feel it every once in a while because it had to jump a quarter inch before it even went through the resistance of the plug in the gap. And
and that's on the same bank as the injector. And so everyone else that's listening to this, you're never going to have an ignition misfire cause negative trim number. So that had nothing to do.
But when we had that cylinder balance contribution, we're like, why is it showing 3?
On occasion, it was showing 3. That's a monkey wrench in the whole thing. It really isn't from the negative trim standpoint.
No.
You know, but man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not filming all of this, guys. Just my setup again. I apologize that I don't remember the scales and setting I used to get the good waveform. I went through the data after to find it, so I'll do the best I can with that. And then again, my service port, can't see here, no real good light, but is on this side, which is not bank 1. That's 4, 5, and 6. That's bank 2. And the entire time, thank you, Danner. The entire time I talked about it in the original video, I was calling that the number 1 cylinder in my sync, and that was ridiculous. So I was incorrect. I was synced off the number 4. Probably in this circumstance, so I don't have to worry about firing order, maybe what I'll do is I'll sync this time off of the number 2 itself, so we can really watch that one and not have to worry about the firing order. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Hey, Danner, what did we end up doing with the O2 on that? Remember the stripped O2?
I put a new one
on the driver's side.
I put a new one on the passenger side.
Which one was the one?
You took the one from the driver's side. Hold on. You took the one from the driver's side because you knew that one was working, and you put it on the passenger side, even though I had put one of his old ones in.
But I stripped
and that's when you messed the threads up on the one that was on the driver's side in the passenger side hole, and then you tapped that hole and you said it works, but you know,
I messed up the driver's side one when I put it in the passenger side. So I couldn't remember which.
Yeah, so what I did is I got a brand new one, and I put it on the passenger side, and then I took the other new one that I had taken out of the passenger side, because you kind of repeated my steps.
I did.
Because I took his new one out and put one of his old ones in that side.
Yep.
And you wanted to just be, because you knew one worked, you just wanted to make sure, because you were in the same boat as me.
Yep.
Like, we would have never found this without whatever the heck you're doing over there.
Yeah,
you
dude,
know? I mean,
for real.
You would have been speculating and
I still was speculating. I'm still, like, to see a flow rate on a fuel injector that's less than 3 PSI on that final test we did. That's a lean condition all day long. Nope, it was a rich condition.
That's crazy.
It flowed more, like you said, vacuum, and then a more consistent pulse width on the you know, duty cycle, consistent duty cycle of the injector and vacuum.
RPM and vacuum.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Crazy.
the only thing, the pedal had to be like jiggling in there, I don't know.
I mean, it's still the timer tool at least told us which injector.
Yeah. And that's when I talked to him. I'm like, look, I know we have a problem with that injector, but it's flowing less. It doesn't make any sense. But we did, if you look back at our speculations,
yes,
we were saying it's a possibility.
Oh,
and then when you accidentally saw it in your editing, you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I had my firing order all wrong while I was here.
Yeah.
It was hard to get that. I don't think I could have narrowed in on that number 2 injector without the timer tool. Yeah. The pico and pressure transducer was the key in saying, hey, we have an issue here. However, for everyone else, I'm not confident in my abilities of the variations because of where the rail is in relation to where your pressure transducer is and all of those variables that come with this kind of testing.
Yeah.
So,
but you never would have pinpointed it, or at least felt better about it unless you were able to instrument it like that.
That's true. However, we were both in agreement. We're changing this injector whether we make the fuel trim worse or not. We both thought.
Yeah, because we had a rough idle and we're like, hey, if it's flowing wrong, you know what I mean?
We both thought when I left, we're going to make it worse changing this injector.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, there's a chance the fuel
because it's flowing less.
Yeah, that's right.
But it flowed more.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
That's funny.
Yeah. So one of the things I do like about the Pico is we can pull up. I did save some of the files. I think this is what Danner wanted to see too. So maybe we can show him that right now. So we'll open a file. These are the ones. Maybe the second one I did. The nice thing about this is we'll be able to use the same settings. Let's just see if I see it in this buffer. I'm just scrolling through the buffer right now. Yeah, I'm not really seeing it there. I was focused on the wrong stuff. Oh, here you go, Danner. Here's your waveform. What are my settings for this? This is the one I want to use. 50 millisecond time base, plus or minus 10 PSI. So it looks like, did I AC couple this? I did AC couple it on a 10 PSI scale. That was the one that really showed it. All right, I'll have to try to remember that. What I don't know as I'm setting up here and talking, I don't know what setting I had my transducer set to. There's 3 different settings on that, plus there's zoom levels. Let's see if we can match this. I unfortunately did not save this one. I didn't save this Pico file where we are right now. I scrolled through the 2 I had. I don't have this one saved. This is a screen recorder. As I'm waiting on my brother, I apologize for that part 2 video where I'm going through all this and calling this the number 1 cylinder and having my banks all mixed up. Man, that really made this a mess. I kept it for you guys that way just so you can see the struggles. I'm not sure that makes for the greatest learning lesson overall, but I think it's important to include the struggles. And yeah, my red trace, that's bank 2, that's the cylinder 4. And so in the firing order 1, 4, 2, wait, 1. I did it again. This is not 1. Damn. So easy to do. I'm synced on number 4. I should have never synced on number 4. It's 4. This is 4. This is 2, 5, 3, 6, and 1. These lower 3 are the bank 1. These 3, the less of a drop, and then the more drop ones are bank 2, 4, 5, and 6. So cylinder 4 was my sync, not cylinder 1, which effed me all up in trying to interpret this in the first place. But this is the capture that shows it. This will be bank 2. This will be 4, 6, and 5, I think, in the firing order. No, 4, 5, and 6. Either way, the longer ones are bank 2 because my pressure transducer's right next to it.
So and then I'm looking at spark on this one, the red one.
This is injector fire.
Oh, that's injector fire.
So when that injector fires, you're getting a pressure drop.
Yeah, okay.
So right at that period, it's a little bit delayed, but you know, there, you see, let's count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you have the injector fire again. So there's 6 events. These 3 being closer to the pressure transducer are going to show you the larger drops. The other side are further away. So. And I had a friend actually mention the counter fuel trims too, and the pulse widths being different bank to bank possibly being a factor here. We're going to find out here when I start it. But that's the downside of pressure transducers is depending on, like I've done this on intake manifolds, you expect to see like an intake waveform and they're all even and uniform. But if you're closer on one bank than the other, that bank is much more pronounced. Just the nature of a pressure transducer is variables. But this being cylinder 4, this is cylinder 2, 5, 3, 6, and then 1. So this is, let's just focus on these 3. This one, and this one, which is the other bank.
You're looking at it too.
It's
way different than
there's 2. Look at it here. 1 and 3.
So
it's 2, 1, 3.
I wonder why 3 has that weird little bloop in it.
I mean,
I should have changed that injector too.
No, honestly, at times you're not going to see that too. So like I had real hard.
It looks really repetitive.
It does.
I mean, it doesn't seem like. I mean, it may be just an indication of some kind of jiggle.
Well, you got some up here too, and then what you have depending on the rotation of the fuel pump too. So you have fuel pump impulses as it rotates. There's armatures, and at times I'm getting armature. So within the pressure drops, a timing of an armature and the rotation of the pump, and that was changing on me constantly. So you can't really look at that because you see one up here too.
Was it always cylinder 3?
No, I think it moved. Like I could go through this.
No, that's fine.
But you can
dumb questions.
No, it's a good one actually. But you see cylinder 2. There's cylinder 2,
like
cylinder 2.
Equal to the ones like if you saw this on bank 2, you'd be like, okay, it was flowing a little bit less.
Like I couldn't see that. Like at other points in time. At other points in time in this, I have like, look, you can see here. I'm like trying to put partitions in and figure out what cylinder's what. I still see the number 2 in here. There's the number 2, right after my sync. That number 2, and this is where you see all the other jagged pieces you were talking about. That's fuel pump pumping too.
Gotcha.
So. But like I was constantly messing with it, and like even like that one. What did I do on this? I'm showing the actual. This is the actual pressure here. So you see 26, 33, and like I can't see it. Look how even and uniform that looks. Like if I looked at that waveform, there's no way that I could make a call. Oh, you need a number 2 fuel injector. I'm not even confident right now that I'm going to get the readings I want. But that's why I think the AC coupling of the scope, which is what I'm set at, it's AC plus or minus 10 psi, is how I'm going to do it again and see what that looks like.
No, that's really cool though.
But I mean, it's crazy to see more flow confirmed, more flow on the number 2 fuel injector, have less flow on the timer test. I've never done a timer test that had less.
You're only talking what, a 5-second pulse, not like a long.
So
you're not talking about like a running scenario.
Well, I usually use a 10 pulse 50 millisecond. The one that really showed it was the 500 pulse, like 50 millisecond one is the one that showed the 3 psi difference. But yeah, I mean,
neat. That's cool though. And you just saw that just when you were going through your editing, trying to figure out what you want to put in there and how you want to make yourself look better.
For sure. I mean, I want the data to be accurate, when I'm going through it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I didn't do that. It all stemmed from me not syncing and counting that as my number 1. But this one clearly shows it. Number 2, number 2, number 2.
Yep.
Let's see what this looks like. Well, I got to remember this is a screen recording. I can't use this. Let's go back to the Pico now. Can't use any of the presets. 10 psi is what we had, and then we're going to AC couple that. 100 volt, that's good. And then, what did I say that sample rate was? 50 milliseconds, I think. Let's start to see what that looks like. Let this idle down. That's probably comparable to what I had. Danner, come check out this after waveform. It looks pretty good. I still don't know, to be honest with you, man. I don't know if I could come in with this pressure transducer without the timer tool pointing me exactly to that number 2, and then my eyes really focusing on that, because some of these frames are tough to pick out, but you can still see your deeper ones. There's cylinder 1, or sorry, I keep doing that.
Cylinder 4.
Cylinder 4, cylinder 5, and cylinder 6. You see they're deeper.
Yeah.
They're deeper drops, right? Just like,
is that a different scale than you were on before?
no, it's pretty close. 10 psi, AC coupled, 50 millisecond time base. I had about 4 on the screen, so maybe the RPM's a little bit higher. Okay. But you see the one bank 2 is lower, and then here's bank 1. This would be injector 2. Yeah, 2, 3, and 1. 2, 3, and 1. 2, 3, and
that'd
1.
Be tough. I mean, like looking at that would be tough.
Yeah, and then
it just doesn't look like the same scale you're on.
Well, it's because my RPM's a little bit higher. So let's drop the RPM down, and you're gonna see like a lot of like I couldn't make heads or tails out of that. Like that's at idle. There's too much going on with the fuel pump. I can still see those big drops on this bank, and then actually that's probably a better.
It is.
That's probably a better capture.
Yeah.
Because I can see a nice even uniform now on that bank and on this bank, and you know there is a factor. I had a friend mention it too about fuel trims with minus 14 on the one bank and positive 10 on the other. These are going to be more different than each other bank to bank. Even more so because of the trims, and I wasn't considering that. And I think that's
seeing that on your edit, because there was a vacuum line off. Were you seeing the negatives and the positives? Because I thought
I did. Yeah,
did you?
And that's what made us think plugged exhaust and timing and all that in the first place.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was because of that.
Well, there was a vacuum line.
What line was off?
Like the this is all purge stuff. It was that one over there, I think, that goes to the EGR, and it comes. See the solenoid bolted to the side of the intake?
Yeah, it's for the EGR. So
those two were off. So I had a vacuum leak from manifold source just sucking air on that side.
It is possible that I caused that because I was back there and I disconnected the fuel pressure regulator vacuum hose at one point in time, which is behind there. I might have knocked that off.
Okay.
And so how do we explain then the 10% on this side and the minus on this side? I'm really not sure.
Well, because
how do we fix the 10%?
Well, I just plugged that in. Like that was off probably in the middle of your testing somewhere, and then because when this originally came in, I was hovering around like 5-6%, whatever on this side. This side was nice.
Okay.
And that side was like positive, like 22, 25.
You mean minus?
Minus 22 or 25, and then like later, like after you were done with your testing, and the codes were clear.
It was more positive on this side.
Well, I wasn't even looking at this side, but I was only at like 13-14% negative on this side, and not 25. And I was like, and I was like, man, I'm wondering if I could drive this and get the readiness monitors, the cracks, because it's got 2 of 24 stickers on it. So I feel like we created a problem.
I did create a problem then.
Yeah, because when originally this side was fine, it was within the 6-7% that you don't care about.
So, but that's what makes you check plugged exhaust and because you see the
if you're like looking at
positive one side, negative on the other, but really it boils down to
vacuum leak that was compensating for the richness on that side.
I feel like that 10% we were seeing on that side and 14 or 15 on this side was like that from the get-go when I started. Looking at trims, long term on bank 1 is minus 14, minus 15 now. But the short term is countering that. I see the short term, that was like, I saw a positive 11. So I'm gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame you for knocking that off.
That's fine. I'm just saying originally when it came in, this side looked fine.
Wow. So we got a vacuum hose then that's our positive 10 and made the negative not so negative.
Yeah, because I was like, why is this set in the code at
14,
15%?
Yeah,
like it's close, but
close.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, and then the number 3 spark plug, right? The wire,
the furthest one on the one to your left.
But I mean, just for visual for everyone, the electrode, what Danner's talking about,
they went over top of the tower just like that.
Right, the electrode's to the side.
You see a lump, like it was a huge lump on that side, and it goes on. I'm like, why does that look like that? You know what I mean?
So the electrode's sitting on the outside.
And you could hear it arcing on the inside.
And that, just to be clear, that's about a 3/4 of an inch gap before it's got to hit the electrode on the side.
And that would,
I'm surprised it wasn't constantly misfiring.
I'm with you. But
it didn't misfire. It did, but only on occasion. It was only 1 or 2 or 3, and I'm like, I just totally ignored that.
Well, that's what it did. So.
I'm going to retake this one more time. Danner's not here for this, but what we were looking at for the other bank, I do not think is accurate, because this is for cylinder 1 is right in here. Like, just look at the spacing. That's too close to cylinder 4 to be the other bank. So this other drop is probably just fuel pump operation. So these 3, and then it would be these 3, this one, and this one. But again, we got pump impulses in here. I'm gonna retake this capture. Let me try one more time. If I saw that on that startup, let's run that. Let's get a little bit higher RPM. There's just a lot of dynamic pressure changes going on in the rail, distance between the cylinders and the transducer, and then the fuel pump pumping. That's the one. That is the one. Probably gonna repeat this to my brother, but different RPMs, different speeds, really tough to pick out, you know, consistency in this. I'll let you guys look at the waveforms on different, or the pattern on different waveform. So I'm clicking through the waveform viewer up top up here. We can certainly see the dynamic differences in pressure still. So, you know, fuel trims being counter to each other. I don't think we're really a factor on the waveform. Not a lot, but certainly something to consider. Having minus 14 on one, positive 10 on the other, you're gonna have less on the minus 14 side as far as drops in pressure, but the dynamic I was talking about with the distance to the pressure transducer is still the main contributing factor. Focusing on the smaller 3 cylinders, 2, that's the new injector, 2, 1, and 3. You can see 3 flowing more here. There's very possible that, I mean, the trims look good, so I'm not worried about it. It's not misfiring. And when we did the balance test, all the other ones look good. So those are things to consider before you really look at these and say, hey, you know, that's a problem. Can't use the idle one at all. What my brother and I were talking about with these lower ones is not the bank 1. Bank 1's going to be in here. Not sure what this second drop is in here whenever the injector is firing over here. It's firing here. You know, just some variables of doing this. Here's a higher RPM. You guys can just watch this as I go through the waveform. There's bank 2 with the lower ones. Here's bank 1. Right, those look pretty decent here. Little discrepancies here. But again, think about the fuel trims too. I'm focused here, here, and here. Looks like 3 is flowing more, but there's 2 and 3 are close on that one. 2 and 3 flowing more. Some more captures here. This is just me changing my RPM. You know, I could pause there and be like, look, they're perfect. You see how difficult this can be. But I think that's a pretty good capture. If we want to do a before and after, I think maybe that's the one where we can see bank 2 and then we see bank 1 right there. So hope you guys like that. Well, Caleb can work his magic and put this together, but I'm super excited the truck's fixed. Anxious to hear you guys' thoughts on the characteristics we're seeing. The fact that our timer tool showed less flow and we have more flow with the Pico. I mean, the Pico really was clutch here. Great case study, really difficult one for us. Hope you guys learned something from this. Whenever you find a fuel injector like this where you're using a timer tool and you see one that's off, don't worry. I guess the lesson really is don't worry about the variables of saying, is it rich or lean? It's a problem, change it, right? We would have done that anyway without all of this. So I think that's a good takeaway. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. I lied. That's probably the best before and after shot that I can give you guys. Sorry for the phone image here. We can take a picture of it. Dinner!
Yeah.
I just want you to see before and after. I just took 2 images. Right, there's our before capture.
Yep.
Right, we talked about that one. There's the after. I think that's probably a good, so I have 4 firing events on that. On this one, I'm showing 3, so a little bit different, but I mean, you can see, look how nice and even that bank looks.
Go back to the other one. Yeah, I see it. Just go back to the other one again. See, why is this one going down to like -4 and you're on that range, and if you go to the next one, the first one, the fixed one, you're only going down to 3. No, that's 3.8.
I mean, the dynamics are a little bit different, and RPM probably isn't exactly the same. The other thing on this one too is, no, that one shows it. We're comfortable with that, but that's pretty good. I mean, we do see, it looks like the number 3 on occasions flowing more, but we don't have any type of negative trims.
Yeah.
And now we're getting into the nitty gritty here, and like so many of these frames look different. Yeah. Like that's a really good capture.
But the fact that it matched number 4 almost, and the original.
You're talking about like the waveform itself, like the depth of it?
Yeah, the depth of it. The fact that it was matching number 4, and all the other ones were like off to the next bar graph.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's neat that you saw that.
Dude, I mean, it was only...
Like you said, though, how do you condemn something unless you see something that obvious, though? You know what I mean?
Especially because of how much the fluid changes, like just by RPM and captures. Like,
now, is there a chance that maybe because that one's flowing so much that these two were going to flow a little less because of...
Yeah, like it takes more for recovery.
Yeah, just to recover
sure,
time.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Because there's a drastic difference between
this
3 and 1 and 2.
Well, but that was also our leaking injector. I mean,
I'm just saying that, like, the fact that these are a little bit less than your new shot, where they're closer.
I don't think you can. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to equate like what these are now. You can't, because I could change my RPM by 100 and that whole thing changes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not at the exact RPM.
But just the original capture of how, you know, cylinder 2 almost mirrored bank 1, you know, or bank 2, 2, 4, and 6.
For sure.
Cylinder 2 was so close to those and not on the other side of it, on the other side of the rail where you would expect it to be. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep, like that.
It was intermittent, though. I could see that, because this one wasn't quite as bad.
But it wasn't intermittent on the fuel trims. No. You know, it's only intermittent in our...
seeing every single firing.
And it's only intermittent in our capture because of all of the different variables that are going on in that fuel rail.
Yeah.
You know?
Fun.
Crazy one, man.
So there you go. Good.
Hey, it's Pete. Wait, we have Pete Latour in the shot too.
With the Danner boys, Danner boys.
How about that?